Come build with me this pack-limited mansion for my 100 baby challenge. So first off, I gotta give some context and I gotta give some thanks. So in my castle build the other week, I had this whole spiel about how I was really skeptical of kits. Like, are they really worth the money? And how I didn't have any because they never go on sale. Well, I built that castle on my Twitch channel, and my Twitch chat the whole time was just watching me struggle. So I'd like to give a huge thanks to my chatters, Martin and Roxie. Roxie got me my very first kit, the Pastel Pop kit, and I have been loving it. And then Martin got me the Modern Luxe kit, the Book Nook kit, the Greenhouse Haven kit, the Everyday Clutter kit, the Country Kitchen kit, and the Little Campers kit as I was making this build. Since then, he also gifted me the Bathroom Clutter and Industrial Loft kits. So keep an eye out for those in future builds. So I really want to thank Martin and Roxie for supporting my content and my channel, and I've linked their YouTubes and Twitch in the description, so go show them some love. But with all these new kits in my inventory, I thought the best way to showcase them would be a base game plus kits only build. So that's what this is today, and my baby challenge has been needing a new house, so I decided to kill two birds with one stone. Well, at least I tried. My budget for this build was around 44k simoleons because that's approximately what my baby household has, but oh my goodness, I went so over. So it may be a while before this build makes an appearance in our gameplay. But it came out so fun, I wanted to show you the build. I kinda glossed over this earlier, but this is a fake tiny home, so I can only have 32 real tiles. And in the past, I've used those for the newborns, infants, and toddlers rooms, because I think they need to be soundproof, but I'm not actually positive, so this time I kinda wanted to try something different and put all of the real tiles into a basement. My thought was it could kinda be a bedroom for my adult Sims, who I'm not moving out yet because I don't need the room, but kind of are too old to be in a teen's room. That's downstairs, we furnished that last. I kinda forget there's a basement for most of this build, but just in case you were wondering, the basement does get used. So with that context out of the way, we've been working on the shape here. I always struggle with these fake tiny home builds because they pretty much have to be one story, and there's kind of a limit to how interesting of a build you can make with only one story. And especially with so many bedrooms, you have to have really long hallways, and I think it can get really boring really fast. So I tried to go with an overall L shape to make it more interesting, and then it kind of gives us a perfect corner for a backyard and greenhouse. With the floor plan decided, it was time for the roofing. I've been doing better about thinking ahead and trying to make a shape that will be easy to roof while still looking interesting, and I think I accomplished that here again. I had some issues with that little outcropping for the infant rooms, but on the whole, it came out well. I went back and forth on the siding for a really long time, but finally decided on this red paneling and brick that kind of matched the surrounding houses in this area. We're in Brindleton Bay, by the way, which is where I was thinking about moving my household. Although because they can't afford this house, we're not gonna do that yet. Now you can see we're going through and adding flooring, wallpaper, lighting, the good stuff. I keep saying this is a fake tiny home, so let me explain that for a second. Tiny Living came with a special residential lot type called Tiny Home Residential, and there's 3 tiers. The smallest is the 32 tile micro home, then there's the 64 tile tiny home, and the 100 tile small home. They each have different perks, but the micro home has the best perks by far. You get double relationship gain, you get double skill gain, you get reduced bills, everything's twice as comfortable, and even plants grow faster. So for a challenge like this, where we're trying to build up the skills of 100 children, I find tiny homes to be essential, but they're so small. Fortunately, the game has a glitch or a feature, whatever you want to call it, where you can make a room that looks like a room, acts like a room, but isn't actually considered a room by the game. Now, these kind of rooms do have some limitations. For one, the lighting gets kind of weird, especially around dusk and dawn. And you can't make a foundation or a platform with those rooms, which is kind of annoying because I really like the look of foundations, but I value the tiny home perks more. So far, we've been working on the infant and toddler area, and we're gonna do the bathrooms, then move on to the kid and teen rooms. Like I was saying earlier, having so many bedrooms results in really weird long hallways, so I tried to help a little bit by at least splitting up the bedrooms into different sections. It takes forever to paint all of the walls in a fake tiny home because you can't use shift-click like you would in a regular room. So I've skipped forward a little bit, the walls are done, and it's time to work on the dining room. I sort of finished off the entryway by using that round base game Capistrano column, and then did just a simple brown table and chairs before moving outside. I wanted there to be a little greenhouse outside, but I wasn't sure where to put it. Initially I'd had it right up against the house, but I moved it out to the corner. I think it looks a bit better that way. Then it was at this moment that I realized I didn't have any windows in the whole build, so I went through and added a bunch. One of the things I really wanted with this build was to make it feel more like a home and less like an industrial prison, which is kind of what the older homes feel like for me, especially for the infant and toddler rooms. So I wanted this to feel more homey, so I gave them more bedrooms, I gave them bigger bedrooms, I gave them like a different color scheme for each bedroom. Really tried to add a lot of personality. It's difficult since we're aging them out so quickly, but I like to have something pretty to look at. It was at this time I realized I needed to finalize what the living room was going to look like, and actually I think this is my favorite room of the whole house. The Book Nook kit was the star of the show in this room. We got the furniture, we got the clutter, it was just so cozy, and then I used some stuff like the record player from the Modern Luxe kit and a rug from the Pastel Pop kit, and it just all tied together so well despite being from different packs. I was really impressed. Now it's time for the toddler rooms. I was really conflicted about what to do here because obviously one of my main goals here was to give everyone their own bedroom so it would feel more like a home and less like a prison. But at the same time, I don't really need 3 duplicates of everything. Like, yeah, I need 3 beds, but I don't need 3 blarfies, I don't need 3 stacks of blocks. So it kind of felt repetitive here, but I think it's realistic, I guess. I used that little pillow from the Little Campers kit, by the way, on top of this toddler bed in the blue room, and I think it looked really darling. I actually used a lot of the Little Campers clutter just throughout the house, and it's so cute. It added so much life to this build. Next up is the toddler bathroom at the end of the hall. Not all of the bathrooms in this build have toddler potties, but this one's right next to the toddler room, so I thought it made sense. And then I add some cute finishing touches to the infant rooms. Because this is a base game only build, I don't have the playmats from Going Together that I would usually use, and honestly, once I move my family in, I'll replace the cribs with the Growing Together playmats, because they're really useful for my gameplay. But I really wanted this to be a base game and kids only build for the gallery, so that's the version that I uploaded. My gallery ID is in the description, by the way, if you want to check out this build. Next up is probably my second favorite room in the house. I used this bed and tent from the Little Campers kit, and then some of the items from the Pastel Clutter kit to just create the most charming kids room you ever did see. Next up is more of the teens rooms. They're a bit older, more mature, but they still have a hint of whimsy, as is evidenced by this green frog chair. Then I added some clutter from the Everyday Clutter kit. I messed up the doors here because of course I always do, and so the green teen actually gets a bathroom all to themselves. The bathroom was supposed to be accessible from the living room, but I put a couch in the way, so I guess the oldest teen is gonna live in the green room. That's their privilege. They've earned their own bathroom. Everything was starting to feel a little bit samey at this point, so I made kind of a goth teen bedroom as well. That's what we just saw. And now I'm moving on to work on the entryway in the kitchen. I was really excited for this kitchen because I love the cottage living kitchen set, but I just wish there was a pink swatch. So when I found out that the country kitchen kit had a pink swatch kitchen set, I lost my mind. I knew that's what I wanted. Shasha has always had a lot of pink in her house, and my goodness, she deserves a pink kitchen. And I even have this counter where I could fit 3 bar stools, so we have a ton of seating and eating space for our kids. Next up, the newborn rooms. I mean, they don't have to be anything special. I just wanted them to be right off of Shasha's room so she could feed them in the middle of the night. And then for the main event, Shasha's room. In hindsight, this room's a little small, and I wish I had made it a little bigger, but by this point I had already furnished everything else and added the roofs, and it was just gonna be way too much effort. So she just got a nice cute little pink bedroom, and I still like it, even if it's kind of small. And finally, we're moving outside to the greenhouse! The greenhouse kit has these gorgeous windows that I put all over. I really wanted to give it like that hothouse kind of vibe, you know? And then I just added the clutter everywhere. I just wanted a lot of plants, I wanted a lot of plants in progress, I wanted a lot of greenery. I just wanted the vibes to be green and cozy. And I know I've already pointed out 2 things that I said was my favorite, but this actually is my favorite. The backyard came out so precious. The swings with the fairy lights from the Little Campers kit, as well as the projector and the bonfire and the s'mores and the tarp. It was just beautiful. Last but not least is the teen's bedroom downstairs. Honestly, I feel like the basement bedrooms are kind of worn down in drabs, and I actually forgot that this was just a base game and kids build for a second and used some stuff from Werewolves and City Living, because it's extra worn down, before I remembered and took it out. But yeah, we have a little bedroom down here for our teen or young adult, as well as an ensuite bathroom, and then I wanted an additional living room area because I wasn't able to fit a TV upstairs, so now we have a basement TV, which is cool. And that's the build. Check it out on my gallery. I'll give a more in-depth tour when I actually start playing with it in my 100 Baby Challenge, but it might be a while till we get there. But finishing thoughts on kits is that there's actually some really good ones. Not all of them, mind you. I would really recommend doing some research on which ones are highly reviewed, which ones have the styles you like. So far, I think I've really been enjoying the Book Nook kit and the Pastel Pop, with the Little Campers being a very high third. But I've linked the videos by Lil Simsy and James Turner in the description that were really helpful for me in deciding what kits I wanted. Once again, thank you so much to Martin and Roxy for their support and generosity, and I hope you all have a lovely day. Bye!